But nowhere did truth play better than fiction in 1970 than at New York's Madison Square Garden, where the limping, injured captain of the Knicks, Willis Reed, inspired his team to a decisive seventh-game victory with just 4 points, but lots of courage, as the Knicks became champions of the world.
Some of the news commentators and writers after the game asked me, said, how are you going to explain to your son that the greatest game you ever played and you only scored 4 points? I said, well, I disagree with your philosophy of being the greatest game. It was probably the most important game I ever scored, and that I scored those 4 points because it was the final thing. It was the one game we had to win in order to be world champions, NBA world champions, and we was able to do that.
Not a masquerade. It's a protest against pollution. Ecology was big news in the magic year 1970, and that was good news for America's forests and streams, and for Smokey the Bear. Bruins of a different breed tore up the NHL. Number 4, Boston's Bobby Orr, at age 22, became the first defenseman to lead the league in scoring. And watch Orr's partner, Phil Esposito, in front of the goal, deflecting one in for a score. Just one of 43 goals for Espo, who finished second in the scoring race, as the Bruins roared through the league to capture their first Stanley Cup victory since 1941.
Margaret Smith Court, with her splendid all-court game.
Australia's Margaret Court made tennis magic in 1970, becoming the first woman since Mo Connolly in 1953 to win the Grand Slam. Margaret won the Australian, the French, Wimbledon, and the U.S. Open on her way to the Tennis Hall of Fame. Tony Jacklin drove to victory at golf's U.S. Open. Britain's first winner in 50 years gave British golf a great big boost. Baseball said goodbye to one of its most popular men in blue, the flamboyant Emmett Ashford. The first black ump in big league history retired with honors. Cincinnati's brand new Riverfront Stadium was the scene of the first World Series game ever played on artificial turf. The Big Red Machine took on the Baltimore Orioles. 20-game winner Jim Palmer opened the series for the Birds, and Lee May opened up on Palmer. Don Buford jogged over to wave it goodbye. The Reds had a 3-0 lead. But 250-pound Boog Powell belted one out to the opposite field as the Birds bounced back. They tied it in the 5th, and that set the stage for one of the most controversial plays in series history. Bernie Carbo on third. Ty Klein bounces one in front of the plate. Carbo charges home, and he's called out. Carbo can't believe Ken Burkhart's call, and Reds manager Sparky Anderson can't believe it either.
He tagged him. There's no way possible he ever tagged him. No way. Can't get out of here. Get out of there. You were right here, and he knocked you over and went around. There's no way possible, Kenny. There's no way you can even see the play.
Danny, I said he tagged him.
How could you see if he tagged him, Kenny, when you were knocked out?
Now watch Brooks Robinson. An amazing stab and throw nip Lee May in the 6th. In the 7th, Brooks does it with his bat. A solo shot to left breaks the tie and gives Baltimore a 4-3 win in the series opener. And there was still more magic to come from Brooksy. Cincy fans saw the Reds go up 4-0 in Game 2, but the Birds again fought back. Milt Wilcox tried to stem the tide, but Ellie Hendricks scorched one down the left field line with 2 men on. Boog Powell chugged around to score as Hal McRae finally ran it down. Brooks Robinson also scored as Baltimore won it 6-5. Back in Baltimore for Game 3, Brooks really gets the star treatment, and he's really earned it. Watch this smash by Johnny Bench. There's Brooks, another magic grab. Brooks also drove in the game's first 2 runs with this bases-loaded double. His fielding was remarkable, but don't forget, he had a .429 series batting average to go with it. There was another Hall of Famer named Robinson on this club. Frank Robinson hit a titanic shot to dead center as the O's went on to take their 3rd straight 9-3. The old Professor Casey Stengel tossed out the first ball for Game 4, and the Reds managed a face-saving win. But in Game 5, Frank Robinson parked another one. The Oriole power was too much for that big red machine as the Birds piled up another 9-3 lead. And Brooks Robinson, of course, had a hand in the final out. Robbie DePowell caps a magic series for the Birds, 1970 world champion. And Brooks Robinson is the MVP. Here's a Magic Years challenge. In the 1970 series, there were 15 home runs, but only one with the bases full and a hit. Which pitcher hit the only grand slam in the 1970 series? 6th inning, 2 out, bases loaded. Orioles starter Dave McNally at bat. McNally seals the victory with a grand slam, the first series slam by a pitcher in the 67-year history of the Fall Classic. The Beatles came to the end of their long and winding road in the year 1970. But the world will never forget their magic. Another mop top, Pete Maravich of LSU, closed out his college career in 1970. After 4 magic years, Pete left behind 11 NCAA scoring records. Sidney Wicks and Curtis Rowe took UCLA to the NCAA Finals against Artis Gilmore's Jacksonville Dolphins. In the early going, Gilmore and the Jacksonville Five had the Bruins on the run. Gilmore dominated, and the Dolphins built a 9-point lead. But speed and teamwork would win out for UCLA. Henry Bibby goes to Rowe, and it's good for 2. The Bruins run away with the game and the championship. UCLA wins by 11 in one of many magic years for Bruin basketball.